It's no secret that Suge Knight has been a controversial figure in the rap game. He's been accused of everything from extortion to murder. But one thing's for sure, he has a reputation for instilling fear in many of the biggest names in hip-hop. But there are a few rappers who never feared Suge Knight. Who are these brave souls? How did they stay bold in the face of the notorious Suge Knight? What does it take to stand up to the most feared man in hip-hop? With a unique blend of hard-hitting beats and thought-provoking lyrics, they've made a name for themselves as trailblazers in the hip-hop industry. Watch this video till the end to find out who these rappers are that never feared Suge Knight. If you are new here, please subscribe to our channel now and get the latest updates. It all started with Dr. Dre, who was dissatisfied with his financial position at Ruthless Records. He scheduled a meeting with Eazy-E but never showed up. Instead, Suge Knight appeared, threatening the members of NWA, but Eazy wasn't afraid to stand up to him. And did you know that Eazy even considered killing Suge Knight? That's right, according to reports, Eazy-E expressed his desire to kill Suge Knight, using explicit language to express his intentions. Even with all of that, Suge Knight still tried to destroy Eazy's record company, but he wasn't going down without a fight. Keithy, a member of the Crips, said that Eazy-E had all the common Crips behind him, and they weren't afraid to defend themselves. The most incredible part of this story is that no one, not even Suge Knight, could break these rappers' spirits. When BG Knockout met Suge Knight at the Billboard ceremony, Suge tried to press Eazy. But BG and his brother weren't going to let that happen. It brought straps to the hood, and when they confronted Suge, he did not want any smoke. And then there's Dr. Dre. He got what he wanted, a studio and money, and started working with artists like Snoop Dogg and Tupac. But Pac's arrival at Death Row influenced Dr. Dre's decision to leave the label as they had different creative approaches. Pac wanted to spit out track after track, completely different from the style of Dr. Dre. Didn't like the environment at Death Row, which was quite tense at the time. Dr. Dre made the decision to leave Death Row, and since he didn't want any conflicts, he agreed to leave with empty pockets and create his own label called Aftermath. Suge Knight wasn't happy about this at all. In fact, Suge became angry at the quick success of Aftermath. Dre at the height of his production skills. Later, another reason became known for why Dre decided to leave. As Dre said in an interview, if you get scammed once, it's their fault. If you get scammed a second time, it's your fault. Nearly 2 decades later, Dre filed a lawsuit against his former label, alleging that they owed him over $3 million in unpaid royalties. Legal documents that Dre believed there was a discrepancy in the payments he received from Death Row Records, and that they get to honor a bonus from records sold while the label was in bankruptcy. So did Dre fear the infamous Suge Knight? Not at all. We're getting into some exciting stuff here, so if you're enjoying this video so far, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Moving on to Snoop Dogg, the beef between Pac and Biggie was in full swing, and Tupac and Suge didn't like that Snoop was still hanging out with the guys from Bad Boy Records. But Snoop wanted to end the conflict and approached Suge, only to be met with violence and death threats. Snoop had to hire security to protect himself from Knight, who had become a monster and boogeyman in the industry. Someone who wasn't afraid of Suge was Master P, who ultimately saved Snoop's career and life by giving millions to Suge to release Snoop from his contract, making Snoop an official member of the No Limit label. The feud between Snoop and Suge Knight continued to escalate. In one instance, Suge Knight made the infamous remark about Snoop being just a No Limit soldier, a remark that didn't sit well with Snoop. And what about Eminem? His former bodyguard, Big Nas, revealed a shocking encounter between Slim Shady and Suge Knight at the Source Awards. Knight's infamous entourage, the guys in the red shirts, taunted Eminem, saying, "This is Death Row." But did Eminem back down? No way. He stood his ground and even took a shot at Suge himself. But that's not the end of the story. Suge Knight's hatred for Eminem only grew stronger, and he wasn't above trying to harm the white rapper. During a concert in Hawaii, 20 policemen greeted Eminem's crew, warning them that Suge's people were there. But Eminem wasn't about to let Suge intimidate him. Suge Knight's disdain for Eminem didn't end there. He even sent 50 heavily armed men to the Sheraton Waikiki Hotel in Hawaii, where Eminem and his entourage were staying during the 2003 MTV Video Music Awards, with the intent to harm the rap superstar. When 50 Cent was filming his music video for In the Club, Suge Knight and his entourage burst onto the set, only to leave after blowing cigar smoke in 50's face. And let's not forget the infamous run-in between Suge Knight and Eminem at the BET Awards, where Suge was seen with Irv Gotti, with whom 50 Cent also had a conflict. Tony Yayo was one of those who stood up to Suge Knight. He recounted a story about his friend and how 50 Cent, being the genius he is, came up with a plan to outsmart Suge. But that's not all. The game also had his own run-in with Suge Knight. In fact, he once found himself face-to-face with the Death Row Records founder with guns drawn on both sides. The game wasn't about to back down, though he had his own reasons for speaking out against Suge. He felt that the Death Row era had taken too many lives that didn't get mentioned in the city, and he wasn't afraid to say it. When Suge and his gang rolled up on the game at the Vibe Awards after party, Game drew his gun and held his own. From that day forward, it was nothing but respect between the two. It's not just about standing up to Suge Knight. It's also about refusing to be intimidated by him. Akon found himself in a similar situation. When Suge demanded the money he was owed, Akon tried to explain that there was more to the story, but Suge wouldn't listen. He even threatened Akon's mother and family, but that didn't stop Akon from standing his ground. The feud apparently began over an alleged debt that Suge had been trying to collect during the NBA All-Star Weekend in Arizona, when he was allegedly assaulted by two men under Akon's employ. Despite the frightening robbery, no one was seriously injured. The incident underscores the dangerous consequences of refusing to be bullied by someone as powerful and intimidating as Suge Knight. So there you have it, some of the most notable rappers who never feared Suge Knight. So what do you think? Were these rappers truly fearless in the face of Suge Knight, or did they just have something to prove? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the video to learn more about this infamous figure in rap history.